Okay, good evening, everyone. I call the regular City of Prescott Council meeting to order. It's Monday, March 11th. It's 6 o'clock. Roll call. Bailey.
Here.
Maureen.
Here.
Pat.
Here.
Dar.
Here.
Lindsay.
Here.
And John is excused. Everybody please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you. Next item on the agenda is public comments. The city will receive public comments on any issue related to the agenda. Limited discussion by the council may take place.
Just related to the agenda?
Pardon me?
Just related to the agenda?
Just related to the agenda.
There's another time later in the agenda.
Thank you.
Okay, hearing none. Next item on the agenda is the consent agenda, which is City Council minutes from February 26th, Planning Commission minutes from March 4th, Tourism Committee minutes from March 11th, General Fund balances for February, cash balances from February, paid invoices report from February.
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Is there any discussion on the motion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carried. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is reports of standing committees and commissions. Finance Committee, next meeting, Wednesday, March 20th, 5:30. Planning Commission, we met on February 6th. Did an update on the proposal of the mixed-use development of 214 Front Street and 20 Orange Street. The developers do not believe that we need to remove the 13 parking spots in front for the fire department. However, the fire NFPA considers that we do, and the city's stance right now is we go along with the fire department's wishes. There was talk of maybe changing the parking on the opposite side of the street to be angled and then take those parking spots out. Maybe even do that on the other side of Broad Street. However, they're not willing to move forward if we're going to take those out. So we're kind of at an impasse with them. We have a certified survey map for the division of Lot 2, Block F of Fowler's division. Carter has presented information on that. They would like to build a principal structure. Commission asked what to do if the builder doesn't build a home, and we could put a contingency in there to do that within a year. And the commission voted to approve that with 6-0. We also looked at the small box retail restrictions. Carter presented the ordinance and the concerns. The attorney has noticed that there's no actual law case on the subject. There's nothing to say we can't. And that was also approved with 6-0, moved to the council. Then there's changes to Chapter 635, C1, zoning connections. We asked whether we could, we're going to put this with the public hearing on the same time as the public hearing for the other part of the zoning code. And that's all I have. Did I do okay, Matt?
You did okay. The only correction I have is the small box retail restrictions, they voted to hold the public hearing at the next plan commission. And then that, assuming that plan commission passes that, would come to council for review.
Okay. So then the next planning commission meeting is Monday, April 1st at 6 o'clock. Parks and Public Works, next meeting Monday, March 18th at 5.
That may be moving. It might-
Maybe?
Yeah, it might be moving.
Okay. Just have to let everybody know. Health and Safety Committee report?
Yep, we had our meeting tonight. We did look over chapter 443 in regards to the junk vehicle revisions, and we approved that to go to council. We also discussed the unassigned Class B liquor licenses. Rochelle is doing a very detailed, in-depth look at all of our Class B licenses and their history, so that we are confident in the existing properties that have the Class B licenses. I've learned a little bit today too through her education, so that was good. We also reviewed the small box retail restriction zoning ordinance that has been that's going to go through the planning commission with a formal presentation or an open presentation to residents, and we reviewed that, and that was it.
Okay. And the next Health and Safety Committee meeting is Monday, May 13th at 5 o'clock. Personnel, next meeting Wednesday, May 1st at 5 o'clock. That's still a good date, Marie?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, next item on the agenda is communications and new business. Public comments. The council will receive public comments on any issue not related to the agenda. Limited discussion by the council may take place. However, no action will be taken on any items. This includes receiving a written request or documentation and possible action at a future meeting. Step up to the podium, tell us who you are, where you live, and what you need.
Yeah, my name is Stuart. I'm a resident at 142 Gibbs Street, right off of Orange and Gibbs there. Here tonight to ask the council to consider placing stop signs on Orange Street. Placements that I'm asking for are specifically down in Orange and Elm, right next to the intermediate school, coming up the hill there, and also on Orange and Young Street. I've been the resident here for 4 years, and since then we've seen an increase in people speeding down that road. Kind of taken action in other ways. I've called the city and asked them about doing it 3 years in a row now. Was told last year I needed to talk to Chief Michaels about it. Spoke with him about it. He basically told me that we need to see increase in tickets being written on the road. Asked him to write tickets then. Also offered my yard up to have his squad cars hiding if he wanted to. The biggest thing that we're seeing is people coming up the hill and just continuing accelerating because there's not a stop sign until you get to Flores Street there. And then the other way going down, we see people from Flores Street like taking off like they're drag racing. Just the other night we had a car completely squeal tires all the way across past our house, and by the time we can even get out there to see who it is, they're gone. We've done things even as stopping them ourselves. I wouldn't advise doing that because the cops will get called on you. They will come and talk to you and tell you to stop. I have an article to prove that happened to me. Wasn't the most proud moment of mine, but I mean the guy had come up our road 20 plus times in a 2-week period speeding. And so, yeah, we're just concerned. I mean, right on Orange and Gibbs there, where my house is, and the 4 houses that are on the corner there, between those 4 houses, there's 6 kids under the age of 13 that live there. Obviously we teach them both ways, but sometimes kids get caught in the moment. I mean, especially the ones that are probably below 8 and younger, which is the majority. I have one 13-year-old, and that's my oldest, and the other ones are 10, 6, and I think the ones across the road are 10 and like the same age 6. So there's pretty array of young kids sitting right there. I know there's a lot of their friends that live in the neighborhood there as well.
You had Orange and Gibbs, and then you had mentioned another intersection.
Yeah, where
What
was the other?
one?
Orange and Elm.
Orange and Elm, and then Orange and Young. It's basically be every other road from whatever way you want to come, either from the school there or from Flora. It'd be every other one would have a 4-way stop then, technically. So just want to see things slow down. Don't want kids to get hurt. You know, I work from home, so a lot of times when it's nice out like today, we worked outside, and you know, when cross-country season comes along or track season comes along, a lot of the kids are running down Orange Street. A lot of them take that route, especially the middle schooler cross-country team. My son's a part of that. They run down Orange Street. Just saw track kids just the other day running down those roads. And so my concern is that someone's going to get hit eventually. I know there's been issues before I moved into my house of some guy driving drunk down a road and hitting the pole next to my house. So I know it's been an issue in the past on that road. It's a kind of a main vein from the downtown area, and there's just no stop signs from downtown all the way to Flora. So it kind of becomes a drag strip a little bit.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's it.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Any other public comment? If not, next item on the agenda is Resolution 1024, awarding the bid for Elm and Washington Street reconstruction to Total Excavating LLC in the amount of $2,134,017. Correct?
Yeah, I had attached a bid summary, kind of summarizing the range of the bids that came in and a tabulation that showed all of the numbers of the contractors. But on February 29th, we opened bids for the Elm and Washington Street project. There were 5 bids. It was very competitive. The low bid was, as the mayor had pointed out, was from Total Excavating LLC out of River Falls for $2,066,937.13. And you can see the range of the high bid there in my summary. Bids were very good, actually. We bid a lot of projects, and we are actually seeing it drop almost every week. The worst bids I think I saw was January 15th. So I think it's just maybe a flattening of the economy a little bit, and I think a little more competitiveness, and I think some of the some of the private work is maybe dropping off. So I think this work is becoming a little more competitive. For comparison, the city had bonded, I think it was approximately $2.88 million. Once I got the final design, my estimate was about $2.729 million, and it came in substantially lower than that at $2.066. So the alternate bid item 1, which is the mill and overlay of the paving on Kinnickinnick Street, that would be from Broad to Elm, also came in under my estimate. That came in at $67,080. There was some discussion Matt and I had as we got into the bidding. There are, on the project in the base bid, there are 6 very, very deep sewer laterals that are about 26 feet deep. They go down to a sewer interceptor, which is runs kind of to the treatment plant. And to open excavate that seemed to be incredibly expensive. That's about the depth of a lift station, at 6 locations. So I proposed that those would be lined with a cured in place liner, and they came in a lot more than I estimated. But those costs are still in the $2.066 million, so it still is in that budget. The contractor had indicated, well, maybe that could be done by open cut cheaper, and I said, well, if that was the case, we could entertain it. I wrote this summary up. Then he didn't realize it was 26 feet deep. I think he didn't look at the math quite right. And so we can discuss that, but that may or may not come to fruition. That was a different alternative. I'll work more with Matt and as we discuss that further. But we've had excellent history with Total Excavating. They did the Lake Street and Pearl Street projects in 2020, and had a very good, I thought they were very receptive. They were very good at communicating with the public, the people on the projects. So basically, that kind of summarizes, I guess, the bid tabulation and recommendation.
Can I just jump in with one thing, Mayor?
Correct.
So within the resolution tonight is before you is the financing, and one thing to note, when we were planning and we borrowed for this project, we borrowed for both Locust, Elm, and Washington Street all at the same time. One of the things that we discussed is to try to, as council has already approved that water rate study to go to before the Public Service Commission, was in order to try to lower or keep water rates as low as possible, was taking our American Recovery funds and putting that towards the water portion. So then the resolution before you tonight does have those funds that we have currently going into or paying for the water portion of this project at $397,469. Just as one note.
I would make the motion to approve the resolution 1024, awarding the bid for Elm and Washington Street reconstruction to Total Excavating LLC in the amount of $2,134,017.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion, a second to approve resolution 10-24 for the reconstruction of Elm and Washington Street. Is there any discussion on the motion? If not, do a roll call. Lindsay?
Aye.
Bart?
Aye.
Pat?
Aye.
Maureen?
Aye.
Bailey?
Aye.
Okay, motion carried. Thank you. Thank you, Greg. Next item on the agenda is Resolution 11-24, approving the contract for construction engineering services by Cedar Corps for the Elm and Washington Street project in the amount of $157,650. Great.
Yep. Thanks for putting those back to back. No. Yeah, and this, maybe if you're not as familiar with this, with a public improvement project, we'll typically do the design engineering a year in advance, and then if the project then goes ahead and gets awarded, we'll have the construction services, and that's what this is. It includes, actually it included the bidding, which we already did do that. It's kind of a carryover that would be covered under this service. Also, it includes all of the construction engineering, which would be staking, full-time observation, all the change order administration, the closeout administration, record drawings, that type of thing. But a big part is the full-time observation out there and the construction staking services. And that project total is $157,650 for those services.
Make a motion to approve resolution 1124, approving the contract for construction engineering services by Cedar Corporation for Elm and Washington for the amount of $157,650.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion, a second to approve resolution 11-24 for the services, construction engineering for Cedar Corps for Elm and Washington Street. Is there any discussion on the motion?
Just a question, just for clarification.
Mm-hmm.
The Cedar Corp part of the project, which is kind of, I guess you call it project management, I guess is what you'd call it, right? Is totally separate from the contractor bid to do the work, right?
Correct, yeah.
Right.
Yep.
But when we start talking about this stuff, a year or so ago, when we get our estimated number, your number is already kind of, because you kind of know what that is. It's already included. This isn't something that we go, okay, this is an add-on to it. It was already kind of the
Correct.
original.
Yep, as part of
full
the
package,
whole
yeah.
project.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I know what you're asking. Yeah, the construction amount and then our engineering amounts are factored in. And actually, my engineering was a little lower than what we had estimated in the bonding amount. I don't have the exact reduction
That's
of
what I
it,
was looking for. It goes
but
into
yeah.
to the
Yep,
bonding
so it
amount.
has
Okay,
been
awesome.
factored into the borrowing.
Any other discussion? If not, I'll do a roll call. Bailey?
Aye.
Maureen?
Aye.
Pat?
Aye.
Dart?
Aye.
Lindsay?
Aye.
Okay, motion approved. Thank you, Greg.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is Resolution 12-24, approving plans and specifications and authorizing an ad for bids for the 2024 mill and overlay project. Matt, you want to take that?
Thank you, Mayor. So within our capital improvement plan for 2023 through 2030, we have Cherry Street improvements at an estimated cost of $165,000 and Monroe Street mill and overlay at an estimated cost of $225,300. Before you tonight, staff has completed the plans and specs for our 2024 mill and overlay project and are asking for your approval tonight to go out to bid. This work would include the milling, the square yards of the tack coat that would be put down, and then the HMA or hot asphalt pavement for the binder 1.5 inch, and then the surface layer 1.5 inch, along with linear saw cutting. Within the memo before you tonight is we did do corings. There was some hope that maybe we already had 3 inches of pavement, as that's generally the standard you look for in the road. Unfortunately, Cherry Street and Monroe Street both are right around 2 inches, so what's being proposed then is a complete mill of the 2 inches and then pavement about 3 inches. So that will give us the 0.5 inch pavement above the curb, and that will allow for protection of the curb, manholes, water valves, and other structures that are within the street. So the ad would be run on March 20th and 27th, and then bids would be opened on April 3rd at 10 o'clock a.m. The lowest bid would then be brought before council for consideration at that next council meeting. As part of both of these projects, Public Works would be making storm sewer repairs to the streets. Additionally, on Cherry Street, we would be widening the sidewalks. This design is also before you for the Cherry Street for your approval tonight. And then we will have further discussion at our Finance Committee next Wednesday for finalizing payment for this when it is brought forward at that first meeting in April. So with that, I'll turn it over to council for comments and questions.
I would approve Resolution 12-24.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion, a second to approve Resolution 12-24, approving the plans and specs for authorizing ad for bid for 2024 mill and overlay project. Is there any discussion on the motion? Not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carried. Next item on the agenda is Resolution 13-24, approving a certified survey map subdividing Lot 2, Block F of Fowler's Addition. Carter?
Thank you, Mayor. The owner of the property that's 374 Monroe Street has submitted a preliminary CSM to divide the lot into lots 5 and 6 of Fowler's Addition. He would plan to build a new home on Lot 5, which would face Washington Street and be assigned the address 715 Washington Street. One aspect that does not meet city ordinances is the new lot would initially lack a principal structure and only have an accessory structure. So that would violate 635-87B, principal use to be present. However, the owner has submitted construction plans for a new home to begin sequentially after the lot division. So staff deemed it an acceptable timeline to allow for compliance. As the mayor touched on earlier, at the March 4th meeting, Plan Commission reviewed and recommended approval of the CSM with the condition that the CSM be nullified if construction work does not occur within 1 year of council approval. So with that, I'll turn it over to the council for any comments or questions.
Makes sense.
And I just want to know if the accessory shed is going to remain, or are they moving that away as well as part of the new construction?
They wanted to retain that structure on the new lot, so they'll be keeping that on the new lot. Yeah.
Motion to approve Resolution 13-24.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve Resolution 13-24, approving the certified survey map subdividing Lot 2, Block F of Fowler's Addition. Is there any discussion on the motion? If not, I'll do a roll call. Lindsay? Dark?
Aye.
Pat?
Aye.
Maureen?
Aye.
Bailey?
Aye.
Okay, motion approved. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is approval of agreement between the City of Prescott and Park Connect for services at the Prescott compost site. Matt?
Thank you, Mayor. So as part of the 2024 budget, we allocated $65,957 into our capital fund for improvements at the compost site. One of the things that we get many requests for is an increased amount of hours, so we looked into the options of trying to, what we could do to keep the compost site Sunday through Saturday open, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. In terms of our discussion, then we move forward after discussion with our budget cycle of looking to get an automated gate system that residents could use by scanning a QR code that would then open, and you could then utilize that service. It would also allow us then to have improved management, access, and heightened security at the site. So one of the things that we did in terms of looking at that option was working with Park Connect. That agreement is before you tonight in terms of they'll work with HayGov, which is the recent online payment system that we are utilizing that will integrate with Park Connect. And basically when you sign up for a permit, it will generate a free QR code. Then when you go over to the gate, you scan it, it will open, and that will be a free service for residents in terms of they will have to sign up for the QR code, but it will still open. They won't have to pay anything to utilize that. So with that, the agreement before you tonight is the one with Park Connect. It will include the one-time hardware cost of $29,580. That will include the gates, and then the recurring software cost of $1,260 each year. The remaining budgeted funds that we have will be used for lighting, security camera, and asphalt for the entrance of the site. Once we have this approved agreement, assuming it approves tonight, if we approve it tonight, we will be coordinating a meeting with Park Connect to determine an overall construction schedule and logistics for completing the project. So with that, I'll turn it over to Council for comments and questions.
I'll make a motion to approve the agreement between the City of Prescott and Park Connect for the services at the Prescott compost site.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, a second to approve the agreement between the City of Prescott, Park Connect for services at the Prescott compost site. Is there any discussion on the motion?
Mayor, I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
I saw in here that they are developing software that would give individual codes to individuals. Would we be switching to that as soon as they get it
It's going to
developed?
be a rolling change. It'll be a rolling change to it.
Oh,
So we'll
okay.
start with one, and then once they get it, we'll roll to it right away.
Okay, that's great.
Yep.
And if somebody, for whatever reason, doesn't have a smartphone, they would come by the city and you would maybe print them a little thing that they would just hang on to and reuse and do it that way. So
Yeah,
easy
if you have a desktop computer and you want to print out the QR
Do it
code
on
at
your
your
own at
home, you
home.
can do that, or you can come to City Hall and we'll have the ability to sign you up and then print the
Yep,
QR
that's what I
code
thought. I
there
was
as
just
well.
double checking. Thank you.
Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carried. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is other business. Update on the City of Prescott and BNSF Railway lease agreement.
Thank you, Mayor. So at the last council meeting, we had the agenda approval of a lease agreement between City of Prescott and BNSF Railway. Basically, they wanted to house their protection services agent at our police department. We worked out in good faith with them an agreement. And both parties, we thought had agreed in principle, but unfortunately, after we approved it the next day, BNSF let us know that they were not interested in moving forward and signing. So just to give you an update that lease agreement that we approved is not moving forward for finalization.
Okay, thank you. Any other business? Okay, next item on the agenda is closed session. I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to go into closed session?
Second.
Okay, we'll do a roll call. Bailey?
Aye.
Maureen?
Aye.
Pat?
All right.
Dark?
Aye.
Lindsay?
Aye.
Okay. Have to ask everyone to leave now, please.